Hi everyone, and welcome to your weekly Pick a Card Tarot readings for the week of November 18th. If we haven't met, my name is Sydney, I'm the tarot guy next door, and I use my occult knowledge and intuition to help guide you towards the life you want. If you have a question you want to ask the cards, you'll find information on how to get a private reading below. And if you want to learn how to read the cards, you'll find information on my beginner's course below. I'll be doing 5-card open readings, and here are the decks that I have for you. We have the Tarot of Symbolic Worth with Rose Quartz, the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot with Chakra Crystals, and the Morgan Greer Tarot with Pre-Night. We also have 4 different oracle cards to choose from 4 different decks. So go ahead and pick which tarot deck and which oracle card you're drawn to the most. It's totally fine if you're drawn to more than one. And as always, you can pause this video if you need more time. As always with collective readings, take what resonates with you and leave aside what doesn't. If you want to jump straight to your reading, you'll find timestamps below. And with that, let's go right to the readings. Alright, Group 1, let's see what we have for you for this week. Let's throw down the cards. This is the 9 of coins, okay. Yeah, don't panic. The Trump number 13 is a scary looking card, but give me a second here. This, oh, wait. That should be perfect, excellent. All right, I'll see you right now. I know it's not clear why this is relevant, but when I pause the recording and unpause it, I look away from the table to my old phone, which is the camera here. And after pausing the recording, as soon as I looked back down on the table, I thought, now what? As the message, that is the summary of this message in 2 words, the phrase that I say all the time, because the positioning of the 2 coins here, combined with this line here, including the deck here that I always put here, has the theme of abundance that is available to us, but abundance that is hard fought for. And obviously the thing that jumped right away is how Trump number 13 is like laboring away from the reading, like going in, moving forward from whatever is behind him is pretty clear with how he's oriented here. And you know, in the well, from my understanding, let's say the oral tradition of the Marseille did read this card as the, you know, backbreaking labor to transform and to take what has been discarded and to plant something new from it off the sweat of your brow. This is kind of why or how this card eventually became death, and why the Golden Dawn pegged it onto Scorpio many centuries later and all that shit, right? So well, not for this deck in particular. This deck is clearly modern, but I'm talking about the Marseille that this deck is integrating. And yeah, so the backbreaking transformation moving forward from the rest of the reading is obvious. And then when we take into account that these are all swords and wands, that's when the fighting for it aspect comes through. Fighting for it isn't the best word, but there's a very strong theme of the abundance that is available to you not being directly accessible to you. And that is where the action and dynamism that is at the middle of this you know, takes fruit. And actually, before I forget to mention this again, there is the another thing that's playing into the fighting for it aspect is the fact that this 4 of Swords is in the middle of everything, because the 4 is the lowest number in this entire reading proper, you know. Well, actually, even if we include the bottom of the deck, this is another 8. So there is making do with what you have, which plays very smoothly into the, you know, body parts that this skeleton guy is going to recycle into new crops, presumably. So yeah, I also find it, I don't want to spend too much time on this because I'm not too sure what it means and how to integrate it into the message, but I did notice that the swords and wands are all even numbered and the coins are odd numbered, which indicates it's it's like a boulder that is kind of teetering off on a cliff. And there's a tiny little pebble that's preventing the boulder from falling over and, you know, rolling down the cliff or mountain or whatever. And here you are, not in position to take that little rock out and get the boulder rolling. And you're kind of sitting comfy on your, I guess, picnic chair because we're outside. And there's kind of you're gonna have to get up off your ass and walk up that cliff and take that little rock out, or whatever. Like, it makes it seem like less effort than I think it is. Then again, it is like going, it does involve climbing up a mountain and also setting a boulder in motion that you are under without getting crushed by it. So there is, it's not exactly an easy feat, but it's kind of how the coins being even and the rods and swords being odd plays into this, I guess. So I guess, what was the part that I didn't say, that I said I didn't want to spend too much time on? I probably spent too much time on it. But yeah, now what is the summary of all of this? If you like this reading, please give this video a like, and you can use the timestamps in the description below to jump to your Oracle card reading. I'll see you there. All right, group 2, let's see what we have for you for this week. Okay, don't panic. Okay, yeah. I still feel the urge to say don't panic. Let's see how it is in the shot. This should be good. Oh yeah, look at that. All right. So I'm going to put the rest in place. Beautiful. All right. I will see you right now. Group 2, the theme of release is so strong here that a small part of me is surprised that Death card didn't end up in the middle of this, but it's really crucial for the Ten of Wands reversed to be in the middle of all this. And I couldn't help but notice that, well, I noticed it immediately, in fact, that everyone's charging into the Ten of Swords guy. Specifically these two, not really everyone. And yeah, while I was staring at these cards, I did elicit the possibility that the Ten of Swords guy is someone else. However, it's simpler to speak in terms of this being you who needs to release something, okay? But just in case for some of you that it's actually someone else that you're being invited to charge in on, this is not the time for a frontal assault. This is the time to sneak in through the back door, okay? So now that I've addressed that subgroup of people, the thing is, with the only major arcana card being the Death card, charging into the Ten of Swords, Ten of Wands reversed guy, it's looking like whatever it is that you're being invited to release is going to be difficult. You know, the double deuces here making a clear allusion to a decision that has to be made. All of these cards are reversed. Well, both of the twos, I mean, and this entire column here is reversed. So there's difficulty, there's resistance, there's that kind of thing. And again, given that this is a collective reading, whatever it is that you're being invited to release can be different for, you know, all of you. For some people watching, it's a specific person. I'll just put it out. I would be remiss if I didn't at least acknowledge that for some of you, the release that you're being invited to do is a specific person. If that person's face just popped into your mind, sorry, not sorry. Good luck. But to the rest of group 2, whatever it is that that you're being invited to unload or to unburden, the thing that you're releasing yourself from might be a way of looking at a situation, because all of these cards are wands and swords, right? The only non-wand and sword card is the Death card here. So there's a lot of thoughts and words and dynamism and will and all of that stuff, like making shit happen. And when there's a block in here, when there's a block in here and the themes are very dynamic, the release is probably a way of approaching situations, either a way of thinking about it or a way of working towards it. And, you know, for some of you, well, for all of you, it's going to be different. I almost forgot to mention the caveat that I always give with the Two of Wands when it comes up in reverse, which is to make sure that you come from a place of abundance. That might be a really helpful part to help some of you decide to pick a sword, you know. And again, I would advise against direct confrontation. And if all of this is happening within you, I understand how tricky this situation is, but I also know how, you know, one random person's pick a card tower reading isn't exactly gonna be the silver bullet that can just turn your situation around. So that's kind of why I don't feel much pressure to make sense of all this, assuming that all of this is one person and that you're not being invited to figure out how to help someone else, you know? But yeah, the release is a tricky one. A decision has to be made, and make sure that you're coming from a place of abundance. If you hated this reading, please give this video a thumbs down, and you can use the timestamps in the description below to jump to your Oracle card reading. I'll see you there. All right, group 3, let's see what we have for you for this week. Now I'm curious what these cards are, because they kind of jump to the top of the deck. Anyway, okay. Okay. Okay, so actually the middle column, make sure that's right. This should probably be good. Yeah, oh, a little crooked actually. Let's do it like that. Oh, if I didn't say don't panic yet, I'm sorry, I should have. All right, I got your back. Don't worry, I'll see you right now. Group 3, I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off and then rub the ointment after. It's looking like a difficult conversation that you're being invited to have. With the Five of Swords upright in the middle of everything, it's kind of hard to read it any other way, especially when it's surrounded by the cards that it's surrounded by, especially with Judgment upright at the bottom of the deck underpinning everything, right? But I would say that the way that these cards are funneling into the Five of Swords is very interesting. So I'm kind of gonna do it the laundry list approach, kinda. So obviously there's a decision to make, and I think the decision is to whether or not to have the conversation. And I think that everything else is about things to keep in mind while you're on different ways to approach this conversation, basically. The King of Coins is inviting you to not be rash and to not lose sight of the big picture, and to, you know, because when difficult conversations are often difficult because there's a lot of frustration that we've been building up for a while. And once we open the faucet a little bit, it's kind of hard for all that frustration to not gush out at the same time. So the King of Coins is inviting you to not lose sight of the bigger picture, because to really try your best to take a little bit of water out of the tank and not just fire hose the entire tank, basically. And these two cards, I'm so fascinated by how these two cards relate to each other. The only reverse cards in the entire thing. The level, because obviously with the Ten of Swords, it's a dramatic ending, right? A dramatic ending and cycle and new beginning and all that. It's unfortunate that this Ten of Swords doesn't have a sunrise in the background, but it doesn't really matter. The way these two cards are interplaying with each other, because the Queen of Swords is the truth teller. She's the straight shooter. So the level at ease with which this difficult transition will happen is directly proportionate to the level of honesty that you have, either with yourself or with the other person. So many people lie to themselves and then that the lies that they tell themselves is what lets them be honest with everyone else, because they're telling the truth when they speak to others, because the lie zero, they are their own patient zero. And then this infected person that is them, that they've infected themselves, kind of spreads the lie disease to everyone else, being completely oblivious, you know. Yeah, I've clearly been frustrated by this phenomenon that I've noticed over the last couple of years. And if you think you don't do that, you do, by the way. I'm just calling you out. And yes, I know I do that too. Regardless, the way that these two cards, I'm really letting loose today. Anyway, the way that these two cards are interplaying is really saying that. So again, I don't know if it's with yourself that you need to be honest, or with the other person or other people or whatever, because I say difficult conversation because it's very easy. It's simpler to frame all of this in terms of one-on-one relationship. If it's broader than that, or if it's all within you, you know, that's on you to apply that to your own situation. But yeah, that is the challenge for this week. If you hated this reading, please give this video a thumbs down. And if you don't want to watch me pick up your reading, you can use the timestamps below to jump ahead a couple seconds to your Oracle card reading. I'll see you there. All right, before we get to the Oracle card portion, there are a couple things that I want to say real quick. So if you get bored, you can just skip to the part of the video where I start turning cards over. Yeah, I wanted to say these are the only 3 palm stones that I own. So first of all, thank you for letting me, helping me justify the tax deduction. Second of all, whenever there's Palm Stone Day, these are going to be your 3 choices, you know? And it's funny because by palm stones, these are super, super tiny, which is why I can have 3 of them at all. And yeah, these are going to be your choices for a while, because I don't know who needs to hear this, but a tax deduction is not money. It is a bill that I have in the future, and I'm paying a small part of it now. It's just good old-fashioned money out. And on that note, oh yeah, with the Pluto entering Aquarius for good, I broke out the channeling package. So if you chose the archetype, your archetype is the priest. Very interesting. Let me just show you. And the light attribute is facilitates spiritual commitments, serves as a channel of spiritual energy. Okay. Shadow attribute violates the trust of your spiritual community, seduced by your own spiritual role. Okay. So betraying other people's trust as a shadow attribute does not resonate, but being seduced by your own spiritual role does. So as far as the light attribute of being a channel for energy, that is the clear invitation to basically try to not take things so seriously, despite how serious they might actually be, because, you know, there's a big shift this week. And by being receptive, it's important to be receptive, but also important to not jerk yourself off about how spiritual you are with the shadow attribute. So keep that in mind too. If you chose the Egyptian god, your god is Nephth, with a message of meditation. Honestly, given the readings that I gave, I'm just going to read this at the surface level. I try not to do that, but it fits too well here, and I don't think the extra juice would be worth the squeeze. So, you know, no matter what the reason is, there's a clear invitation to be as centered as you can this week, to breathe deep. Whatever breathing practice you do, I know Wim Hof is a popular one, good old-fashioned meditation, that kind of thing, to really control that, or be mindful of that this week. If you chose the angel, your angelarium angel is Hasmed, the angel of annihilation. I usually read the actual depiction of the angel, which I will do right now. Okay, this isn't the only Angelarium card that I read this way, and I'm not too sure the difference, but I don't think it matters. The theme that is coming through with me is how this angel is kind of receiving energy from on high and then distributing it down below in a multifaceted way. So It's almost like the Six of Coins in the sense that the invitation is to be open to the wisdom of people who are wiser than you, and to not expect to have one giant contribution that you can make to one thing, and to maybe apply it in many different ways, in many tiny little moments of your life throughout the week. Yeah, if you chose the animal, your animal is the brown bear spirit. Take time out. This is a very interesting card to pick, depending on the reading that you chose, because it can mean many different things. Some of y'all might be invited to take a break, to make a break from a way of looking at situations, or a way of looking at a specific situation, or maybe specifically take a break from that situation. Given the readings that I gave, I'm not sure to how many of you that last part, to like actually disconnect, is, but yeah, this is definitely a week to not put so much pressure on yourself to hammer out the to-do list, and to maybe focus on the 1 to 3 things. And as long as you can do at least one of those, to call it a good week, you know, because it's just a week. That's a good note to end on. If you liked your reading, please give this video a like. Thank you very much for watching. I hope y'all have a great week. Pluto and Aqua. I'll see you soon.